How women are taught to fear being alone, not just physically alone, but emotionally alone. From a very young age, many girls receive a subtle message from the society that your safety, your happiness, and your worth depends on someone having by your side. If you are single, people will ask you when you will find someone, and if you are independent, people wonder why you are independent. If you enjoy your own company, people assumes you are lonely. But what if the fear of being alone was never really yours? What if it was taught to you? Um, yeah, so today we are going to explore one uncomfortable truth that many women were conditioned to fear in solitude, that they fear has, had shaped countless decisions in their life, in their relationships, and their life choices. So let's begin. Imagine a little girl growing up. She watches movies where the story ends when the heroine finds love. She reads fairy tales where happiness arrives in the form of a prince. She hears relatives asking women about marriage long before asking about their dreams. So, without realizing it, she absorbs a kind of message. So, what kind of message? That being chosen is important, being loved is important, being alone is something to avoid. This kind of message has been spoken to her indirectly or directly. So instead, they are repeated um, things so often that they become so invisible. And by adulthood, many women carry an unspoken anxiety, not the fear of danger, the fear of ending up alone. So, this fear is powerful because it doesn't always look like fear. Sometimes it looks like staying in a relationship that no longer serves you. Sometimes it looks like tolerating disrespect. Sometimes it looks like abandoning your own needs to avoid someone losing you, or to avoid losing someone. Okay, the fear of being alone can make almost any situation preferably seem to choose that person instead of solitude. But here is the irony. Many women who fear of being alone are already lonely. They are lonely inside relationships, they are lonely inside marriages, they are lonely inside friendships where they cannot be their authentic selves. Loneliness and solitude are not the same thing. You have to understand this, because loneliness is the absence of meaningful connection. Solitude is the presence of yourself. So there is a difference between these two. So don't get confused. Don't mix up these two. A woman sitting alone in a cafe is seen as lonely, right? They will be questioned. Sometimes they will be, seeing like why she is lonely. And by adulthood, many women carry an unspoken anxiety, not the fear of danger, the fear of maybe the fear of ending up alone. The fear is powerful because it doesn't look like fear. So sometimes it looks like staying in a relationship that no longer serves you. Sometimes it looks like tolerating disrespect. Sometimes it looks like abandoning your own needs to avoid losing someone. The fear of being alone can make almost any situation seem preferable to solitude. But here is the irony, right? Here is the irony that many women who fear of being alone are already alone. They are lonely inside relationship, and some are lonely inside marriages, some are lonely inside friendship, and some are already lonely where they cannot be expressing their own self, their authentic self. So loneliness and solitude are not the same thing. Loneliness is the absence of meaningful connection. You have to understand this. Solitude is the presence of yourself, correct? And society often confuses both of these. A woman sitting alone in a cafe is seen as lonely. But a woman, I mean, another example, if I'm going to give you, that a woman traveling alone is seen as brave, unusual, or even suspicious by the society. Uh, s- I mean, a woman living independently may be asked if she's happy. These kind of questions are not asked, but rarely do we ask whether she feels free. We don't ask this kind of question to her. We directly points out that why she is single and why she's choosing such kind of life to lead. because freedom can be threatening to a society that expects women to depend on others for validations. So let's now talk about why this conditioning even exists. Historically, women often dependent on marriages for financial security, for social status, and even survival. In many places, women had limited rights and opportunities as well, right? Marriage was not simply a romantic choice, it was a necessity by that time. But now times have changed, and women can build careers, women can own properties, women can travel, lead companies, support themselves, create businesses, yet some of the old fears still remains, right? The world has changed faster than the beliefs we have inherited from our childhood, basically. So as a result, many women are still carrying survival fears that no longer matches their reality. They fear being single more than being unhappy. They choose to be chosen by someone in order to avoid loneliness out of their life. They fear being left more than losing themselves. And that deserves reflection, right? Think about how often women are told to compromise, to be understanding, to be patient, to keep the peace. To keep the peace. So these qualities can be beautiful as well, but when taken too far, they teach women that maintaining a relationship matters more than maintaining self-respect. A woman who leaves a bad relationship is often questioned most of the time by the society. A woman who stays may be praised for her sacrifices. Yet no one asks the most important question here: what is this relationship costing her? Her peace, her confidence, her identity, her dreams. Um, Fear can make people settle anywhere, even in a toxic relationship, and settling can slowly erode the soul. It can harm the soul to such an extent. Now, this doesn't mean that relationships are bad. Human beings need connection. Love is beautiful. Partnership can be deeply meaningful. The goal is not to reject relationship. The goal is to stop choosing them out of your fear. Because there is a profound difference between wanting companionship and needing it to feel complete. There are huge difference between these two. One comes from abundance and the other comes from insecurity. When you are afraid of being alone, you may accept relationship that demonizes you. When you are comfortable being alone, you can choose relationship that genuinely enriches your life. That's the difference, and that's a powerful shift. Okay, let's talk about solitude now. Okay, many women have never been encouraged to develop a relationship with themselves. They know how to care for others, they know how to support others, they know how to listen to others, but they never learn how to enjoy their own company. And that's unfortunate because solitude can be transformative. And when you are alone, you hear your own thoughts, and you discover your genuine preferences. You reconnect with dreams that may have been buried beneath expectation. You learn that your identity exists independently of your relationship. And perhaps most importantly, you realize that your worth is not determined by who chooses you. Your worth is inherent, right? Um, it was never dependent on a partner. Your worth is never dependent on a partner. It was never dependent on attention. It was never dependent on validation. So the strongest people are not those who never feel lonely. The strongest people are those who know that they can survive loneliness without betraying themselves. And here is something that the society rarely tells a woman, that the ability of being alone, the ability to be alone is a superpower. When you are not afraid of solitude, when you are not afraid of being alone, manipulation loses its power. You become harder to control, right? So you become harder to guilt. It becomes harder to pressure into situations that don't align with your values. You stop saying yes when you mean to say no. You stop shrinking yourself to fit into someone else's life. You stop treating attention as love. You stop confusing attachment with some connection. You begin making choices from clarity rather than fear. And that changes everything. Now, if you are listening to this and you are realizing you have been afraid of being alone, don't judge yourself. You are not weak. You are responding to messages you have heard from years and years of programming. Okay. So, what you can do about these things? The first step is awareness. Notice the fear, question it, ask yourself, what exactly am I afraid of? Am I afraid of being alone, and why that? Why am I afraid of being alone or being judged for being alone? Those are very different things. And many women discover that what they truly fear is not solitude itself, it's society's opinion of solitude. So at the end of the day, the relationship you will spend your entire life in is the one you have with yourself. Everyone else may come and go, but you remain. That's why building self trust is so important. Learn to enjoy your own company is so important. Taking yourself out for a coffee is so important. And just travel if you can and explore the hobbies that you have, because once you become comfortable with yourself, something remarkable happens. You stop chasing people, you stop begging for attention, you stop settling, you stop believing that being chosen is the highest achievement available to you, and choosing yourself is not selfish. Okay, it's necessary. So as a woman who values herself, raises the standard for how other treat her. It's very important to realize that as a woman who is comfortable being alone, enters into a relationship by choice, not out of desperation. A woman who knows her worth cannot be easily convinced that crumbs are a feast. So if there is one message I want to take away from this video, is this: being alone is not a tragedy. Being disconnected from yourself is. You were taught of you were taught to fear being alone, but perhaps it's time to question that lesson that you have learned over these many period of time. Perhaps solitude is not something to escape. Perhaps it's something to master. Because when you are no longer fear of being alone, you become truly free, and freedom is far more powerful than approval. So at last, yeah, thanks for watching. If this message has resonated with you, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching. If this message resonated with you, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And let me know that, have you ever felt pressure to avoid being alone, or what has solitude taught you about yourself? Yeah, don't forget to share, subscribe, and like this video with someone who needs to hear it. So until next time, take care of yourself, trust your own path, and remember, your values are never determined by who stayed. It was always within you. Thank you.